The Ford government announced some sweeping changes aimed at getting housing built faster. Among the highlights is scrapping the minimum number of parking spots developers, like condo developers, are required to provide in residential buildings near transit hubs. It also allows colleges and universities to avoid application fees and build higher density student residences. Municipalities will be allowed to quickly increase development charges on market housing that doesn't qualify as affordable. There's also a use it or lose it policy, meaning approvals will expire if there's too long a delay in getting shovels in the ground. Housing Minister and Government House Leader Paul Calandra joins us live in the studio this morning on CP24 Breakfast. Minister, great to have you with us again. So there were a slew of measures in your housing bill that you announced yesterday. We named a few of them just now, but which do you think will have the biggest impact on getting homes built faster?
Honestly, it's not only what we announced yesterday, but it was in the lead up to it, the sewer and water and the infrastructure investments that we're making, over $2 billion in investments. We've heard time and time again, sewer and water is the obstacle to building millions of homes across the province of Ontario. So in the lead up to that and in what we announced yesterday, it's all about infrastructure, and unleashing the ability to get shovels in the ground faster.
Yeah, obviously, you need to have the plumbing, you need to have the system in place for people. You don't just see a plot of land and say, okay, we can build there. So that does make sense. But the opposition says that, your announcement, this bill misses the mark in terms of issues like rent control. People are struggling to pay rent and government investment in non-market housing. So how will your bill really address the current housing affordability crisis that we're seeing?
So the good news is that on June 1st, development charges on affordable housing will be eliminated province-wide. We announced a program for that, and on June 1st that'll take place. We're looking also at an attainable housing program. We've had our highest level of purpose-built rental housing starts in the history of the province. So that community has really come forward, and they're building more units than we ever have before. But ultimately, it still comes down to the number one obstacle that people are facing. High interest rates are keeping builders from building. High interest rates are keeping people out of the market, and those are the number one problem. And then when you add on sewer and water capacity, those are the biggest issues that have been stopping us and holding us back. The bill addresses that, and also, as I said in the lead up, the $1.8 billion in infrastructure is going to unleash things in a way that we haven't before. And I'm particularly excited by the university, by unlocking development for university dorms. Every time we build a student housing, a university dorm, that's one more apartment that is available in the community. So there's a lot here to spur that on. At the same time, we introduced a provincial policy statement. It's not getting as much recognition, which is also aggressive in rebuilding communities. I'm a Scarborough kid. Everybody knows those big plazas, Nob Hill Plaza, massive plazas. Well, our statement allows those to be redeveloped, higher density around transit, transportation, eliminating parking minimums. So there's a lot here to spur on development, to make development more affordable and get shovels on the ground faster.
Minister, let's say someone comes up to you and they're like, look, sir, I can't afford to pay my rent. I'm spending 40% of my income on rent right now. When can I see some relief? I know you alluded to the interest rate, which we could be seeing a cut. Now, a lot of forecasts are saying sometime in mid-July. But I know you don't have a crystal ball. But if given all that you know, what would you say to that person on when they can start seeing improvement in their life?
Yeah, look, as soon as possible. Look, we've done a number of measures as a government to keep costs down. It's been no secret that we've been strenuously fighting against the federal carbon tax. We've cut gas taxes here. We've put a number of affordability measures in place. But the ultimate goal of yesterday is to get more homes built across all types, whether it's affordable housing, attainable housing, student housing, and to really increase the supply of housing to bring down the costs. And that includes the purpose-built rentals. We can't just focus on one type of housing. It has to be all types of housing. It has to be about building communities so that our communities are more affordable and building it along those transit corridors where we are making billions of dollars of investments.
So, Minister, we've also seen kind of parallel, almost competing housing announcements, recently, both from your government and the federal government teaming up with the City of Toronto, for example. It feels like you're running the same race, but on different tracks. Do you think that this is actually slowing down housing progress? I mean, we know that the Ford government is opposed to building fourplexes, but federal housing minister Sean Fraser is like, this is something that kind of needs to happen.
Yeah, look, I'm not opposed to fourplexes. Look, I'm fully opposed to four-story buildings in the middle of communities that can't undertake that type of a development. But we already have Toronto, Mississauga, Hamilton, Ajax, Markham, Vaughan, Richmond Hill. Those are already, as of right, 4 communities. That's close to 6 million people. But the uptake on that has been very, very, very small. We have, as of right, 3 already in the province of Ontario, and have for a couple of years. And less than 20,000 units have been built. So we still have a challenge. And the bill yesterday helped to remove some of the obstacles for getting 3 units as of right built across the province of Ontario. And we aren't standing in the way of any community that wants to go down that road. Please do. You have the right. There is no law that prevents this from happening in any community across the province of Ontario. I think what the federal government has announced, I'm encouraged in some aspects of it, to be honest with you, because there is a focus also on infrastructure and sewer and water and some of the things that the federal government has brought forward. So we're going to work with our municipalities, work with the federal government, and get as much of that infrastructure built, because I think it'll unleash, not I think, I know it will unleash millions of homes across the province of Ontario. It is a starting point, and we will work together and we'll get it done.
Okay, very quickly, Minister Calandra, we only have a few seconds left, but I want to talk about this. The federal NDP and Bloc backed a Conservative motion to sit down with premiers in a televised emergency meeting to discuss carbon pricing. We were just talking a bit about that. A liaison poll today indicates that half of Ontarians back your stance on the issue. So where do you think this is headed?
I don't foresee a circumstance where the federal government does not relook at this. It is a very, very, very costly. Look, you know our position. It is a costly tax. It is hurting the Ontario economy. It is hurting individuals, families. It is something that they need to withdraw. It is hurting our home builders. Everybody. You go to the grocery store, it's impacting you there. And we have consistently called on the federal government, at the very least, if you don't want to eliminate the tax, they should have paused the increase on April 1st. Hopefully they'll look at that and reconsider.
Okay, Housing Minister Paul Calandra and Government Speaker of the House, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We do appreciate your time. Take care.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.